All right, let's call this meeting to order. Board of Supervisors for Warminster Township, Thursday, January 22nd. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for all our brave servicemen and servicewomen overseas. Thank you. All right, welcome everyone. It's a nice crowd in here tonight. Glad to see that. A couple of announcements. A couple announcements from me. I want to say we had an executive session prior to the meeting. We went over some legal issues, real estate.
And litigation.
And litigation, yes. Thank you. The other thing is I want to thank Senator Fetterman's office, under the leadership of our Chief Donnelly. We acquired, I think it's $775,000, Jim? Yes, sir. $775,000 that that got written out of the budget for our police body cams and the dash cams on the cars, but we got that awarded. So thanks to Fetterman's office for working with that, and thanks to the police department for getting that grant together. The other thing I'd like to say, I want to thank our Public Works, as always, for doing a fantastic job. This past weekend, we had a couple storms come through that made things complicated, and they did a fantastic job, as always. So we have another storm coming, at least 10 inches of snow. Please take your cars off the street, because there is going to be an emergency declaration. These guys can't plow when there's cars parked all over the streets, and they like to do curb to curb. They really take pride in their work, and let's everybody help them out. All right.
I have some announcements. I have
Go ahead,
announcements for Parks and Rec. We have 2 summer camps will be held in Warminster Park. They are currently open for registration. First one, Philadelphia Phillies Baseball Academy Home Run Experience Camp. It's scheduled for June 29th through July 3rd at Monroe Park for boys and girls ages 6 through 14. Registration is available at philliesacademy.com. Sounds like a great camp. Also, Warminster YMCA Adventure Camp can take place June 15th through August 21st at Warminster Community Park. Registration is available through the Warminster YMCA website with full summer and single week options. Pavilion and facility rentals for 2026 are now open via warminsterpa.myrec.com. Parks and Recreation and the Warminster YMCA will hold the 3rd annual Flying Leprechaun Fun Run for children 12 and under. It's scheduled for Saturday, March 7th at the O'Neill Pavilion at Warminster Community Park. Registration is available on the Warminster YMCA website. And that's it, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Kathy. Janice, you like to go?
Sure, I'd be happy to. With this upcoming storm, it's been a little crazy out in town, but it's been nice seeing how friendly everybody is at the grocery stores, as busy as it's been. People are being polite, so I'd ask you to continue that. Look in on your neighbors around you and make sure that everybody's okay. So be safe and have fun. I know the kids are excited, right? I could see their smiles because they're all looking forward to having a day off from school on Monday. But make sure you take care of your neighbors, because the older people over 50 should not be shoveling. So you young people should take advantage of that opportunity and go out and shovel for your neighbors.
50.
Good way to earn some extra money.
Yeah, you can earn some extra money. There you go.
I am getting old.
She has a sign-up sheet up here for anybody who wants to shovel.
Go ahead, Joe.
We don't want our EMS
I'd like to welcome everyone here. Thank you for coming out. Warminster Soccer Club, that's awesome. I played for Warminster Soccer Club the very first year, 25 or 50, whatever it was, 50 years ago, because I'm 56, 50 years. Also with Ken's, I'd like to congratulate the police department on getting the money, and I'd like to thank Lieutenant Chris McCole, Lieutenant Ron DeLuca, and Sergeant Casey Byrne on all their work in getting the grant. Thank you very much. And girls, congratulations on your championship, and good luck in the spring season.
All right. Go ahead, Mary.
I congratulations. It's really nice to see this many people come out to support you on your big win. And thanks for coming here to show us off what you have. That's all I have tonight. Thanks.
All right, we have cake back there for everyone. Please don't leave without having a piece of cake. If not, the Public Works guys will get it as in the middle of the night. All right, so we're not going to do the Five Ponds Golf Course Clubhouse update because Kimmel Architects couldn't be here. I'm going to hand the floor over to Jess. Brandon? Okay. Come on up, Brandon. I think we're going to go with the Holiday House Contest, right?
The photo contest.
Oh, the photo contest? Okay. All right.
So, thank you, board. Thank you, everyone. So last year, we wanted to incorporate the community more, and I think we did that. I was hoping for 15 to 20. We had almost 50 people entry into the contest. Among those, we selected the top 3 in 2 categories, the township and park. I have these up here that I wanted to share, and then I invited them here, so hopefully whoever is here for the winners can come on up and I'll give them their certificate and we'll take a picture. So the first person was Daniel Yao, who took a drone shot during the Nativity Carnival last year. And among the judges, we voted that number 1 in the township category. James Riccobono came in 2nd place for the raccoons that were in his backyard. It's right there, looking very cute. And then the 3rd place, Ashley McCurdy, took a picture of this squirrel eating, and I believe she just started taking photography, and she was very proud of this moment with the squirrel. For our parks, this one was taken at Warminster Community Park. Jess Day said that as they were out fishing, the bird landed, and she said, "How could you not take a picture?"
Wow. It's beautiful.
The 2nd place was Alex, and I believe her children were at Kemper Park. Thank you. Kemper Park playing baseball, and there was a worm somewhere in there that they wanted me to point. Caterpillar. Thank you. That they wanted me to point out, and so we just love that about the picture. And then 3rd place was Samantha Harris. She said that her sister, fiance, and their dog Banjo were at I believe it's the dog park at Warminster Community Park playing, and it was a nice moment, and they wanted to share it with us. So I'm really happy to share, out of the almost 50 people, that these were our winners. If you're able to come up, if you want to make it, if you want to come up, I'll give you your certificate, and we'll take a quick picture. Thank you.
Wait to get them all. Take a recess and when they get the next one too, like just to do them two, rather than stopping 6 times for a recess.
Now we're starting out the
You don't want us in that picture.
Yeah, I love it. Enough pictures.
So there is going to be another opportunity for everybody to take pictures here. Once we get through a couple more presentations, we'll take a recess. If there's other people here that want to get in the photos with their family. Okay. 50-some people. That was great. Nice participation. Everybody's leaving? No cake?
No cake?
Their pictures are in the hallway, they'll be back in.
Oh, okay. Okay, awesome. All right, so where are we going next, Jess? Holiday House Contest?
Absolutely. So what is this, the fourth annual Holiday House Decorating Contest. This is a really fun program that we run with the Rotary every year. And we have two different categories, Extreme and Classic. And we have a winner, a runner-up, and an honorable mention in each category. So initially, I'm just going to go through a couple of the homes. These are not necessarily the winners. These are just some of our highlights. Oh. Why do I always have a hard time with this? I don't know why.
I'm going to just use the arrow.
There we go. Yeah, you can just slide through to the first. Lovely. Awesome. Yeah, so everyone that participates obviously does an awesome job, but one of the things in Warminster that I noticed coming from other municipalities, people really do a great job in this municipality making everything so festive. So to everyone in Warminster Township that decorates their house for the holidays, it's really awesome to drive through town. So this is our first honorable mention. This is the Lipinski household on Nevark Road. Fun fact about Nevark Road, I just learned, it's Craven backwards. So this is the Lipinski household. That's our honor. Did you know that? I didn't know that until recently. Kathy told me. So this is our honorable mention in Classic. This is our honorable mention in Extreme on Deb Lane. This is the Larson household.
That's bed backwards.
Yes, it is. The Dembeck household on Meadowwood Lane. This was a great display. It was really hard to capture it in photos, but the entire yard was surrounded by those lights, and it was absolutely wonderful in person. Stop by there next year and check it out. The Benedetto household. So everyone who has been following this contest knows the Benedetto household on Spees Lane. Every year they add something new. They have their Santa countdown. They do an absolutely awesome job. Things are tuned to music. It's very cool. So that's our runner-up in Extreme. And our first place in Classic was the DiGiacomo household on Lingo. And this is just like great work. The lights are all even. Everything is nicely spaced. So we love this one too. And our first place in Extreme category is the McGuire household on Oakleaf Lane. They are a frequent flyer here. I'm sure you've seen them a couple times in the past couple years. It's usually between Spees and McGuire. So if you don't register for the Holiday House Contest and you decorate your house, please do next year. It's really fun to have everyone participate and then create the list for people to go out and explore. So.
Wonderful job.
We have prizes. Some of you are here. I know one of them's going home with you.
Yes.
Yes. Is the Larson? Yep. Yes. Okay, so we're going to do a photo at the end.
Yeah.
You already came that way.
Does that work? Okay. Lipinski's? The Dembecks, I don't believe they're here. Okay. Benedettos are not here. That one's going with you.
Yes. It's my neighbor. They have.
Yes.
They're-
And the McGuires? Yes. Awesome. And we'll get these to the winners.
Okay.
Okay?
Excellent.
All
Thank
right,
you.
so we'll
Thank
do
you,
a photo
Jess.
at the end, and we have Warminster
What?
Soccer next.
Yes.
Awesome. So Warminster Soccer Club is celebrating their 50th year this year. They just finished their 50th year. Warminster Soccer Club is one of the greatest organizations I've ever worked with. Their volunteer base is awesome. They do amazing work in our parks. They have a huge enrollment in their program, and they're entirely volunteer run. And the volunteers, it's very rare to see such dedication. And we have a lot of great organizations in Warminster Township that utilize our parks. And Warminster Soccer Club is definitely awesome. So Mr. Hayes has a proclamation that he's going to read.
Okay. So, Whereas we, the Board of Supervisors of Warminster Township, Bucks County, Pennsylvania, are privileged to honor the Warminster Soccer Club in celebration of 50 years of volunteer-run continuous operation, providing youth soccer opportunities. And whereas we have the great privilege to honor 2 championship teams, the 2007 Girls Strikers team, formed in 2015 and led by coaches Lou DeFontini and Brett Marek and Sean Dwyer. I hope I pronounced them correctly. Has provided an opportunity for over 35 girls from Warminster and the surrounding areas to play highly competitive soccer, earning 4th place in the PA East GOT soccer rankings, 2 state cup championships in 2022 and 2025. Congratulations. And concluding its league play in 2025 with a record of 111 wins, 70 losses, and 30 draws. That's amazing. Also representing the Warminster Soccer Club is the U13 Warminster Freedom Team, led by coaches Tom Knoll and Samantha Bacari, which won the ICSL Fall Division. And whereas the Warminster Board of Supervisors is proud to thank and honor the countless volunteers, coaches, and community leaders who have made invaluable contributions for 50 years, successfully and honorably providing quality youth programming, especially current leadership, including President Jason Scanlon, Fields Director Brian Dayton, and Registrar Pat Casey, also one of my neighbors. And now therefore be it resolved, on this 22nd day of January 2026, we, the Warminster Township Board of Supervisors, and the entire Warminster community thank and applaud all those who have contributed to the long-standing success of Warminster Soccer Club. Congratulations.
Way to go, girls! Woo! Woo! Good job, girls!
So congratulations, and hopefully you'll have another 50 years of success.
We won't be around.
You never know. So I guess we should take a break now. We can all get photographs.
Sure, that sounds great.
Bring the families up and the girls.
And cake.
And cake.
And cake.
So we'll go ahead and do soccer first, and then they can cut the cake, and then we'll do photo.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Everybody up here, find your line.
Did you guys eat all the cake?
All right, thank you, everyone. Thanks to all our contestants, the photo contest, the holiday house contest, and to the Warminster Soccer Club. Great job by everyone. All right, moving on. We'll go to land use matters, public hearings, and ordinances. Come on up.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Amy Farrell with Kaplan Stewart. We're here tonight in connection with the proposed Lidl application at Street in Norristown. We have it up on the screen here. I do have some existing paper copies, or additional paper copies if anyone would like one. Oh, looks like you guys are one set ahead. So just a little bit of background here. We're not looking for, and I think you already know this, but just to be clear, we're not looking for any action this evening. This is just an informal presentation. We have been working through this proposed plan with staff for a while now. And we are at a point where, before we advance the ball any further, there's a couple things in particular we wanted to get some feedback from you on, and then also just obviously general comments with respect to the plan. We do have our team with us here tonight. We're going to try not to take up a ton of your time, but I'm going to set the stage a little bit with respect to some of the basic background, sort of where we are in the process, what the overall proposal is, and then we have both our civil and our traffic engineers here tonight to speak a little more specifically to a couple of the provisions related to the proposal. So you can see up on the screen there, generally the overall proposal for this property. This is about just under 25 acres. It's a 24.7 acre parcel, which includes the cemetery in the lower left corner of the rendered portion of the plan. That is the final resting place for quite a few Christ Homes employees. We did receive zoning relief in about this time last year, actually January of 25, to allow for a subdivision of that. It's about 0.67 acres at that lower sort of western end of the property all the way. other direction, sorry. There we go. All the way on the sort of left, plan left there, you can see that parcel B. That is the existing cemetery specifically, and that land will be transferred back to Christ Home to own, operate, and maintain that cemetery going forward. The balance of the property is about 22.9 acres. It is proposed for additional subdivision to ultimately create 4 lots, with all development, as you can see, sort of focused on the eastern portion of the site in the areas that we have fully rendered on this plan. Parcel A, which is the largest parcel, is about a little more than 18 acres, would be development of the Lidl grocery store specifically. And that lot would also retain the majority of the environmentally sensitive and wooded features on the existing site. So as you can see on the overall plan, you can sort of see the outer boundaries of this site. The vast majority of what you see that's not rendered are existing woodlands, creek, riparian buffer, and other environmentally sensitive area. The majority of that stays with that Lidl parcel. The other 2 parcels that are proposed, in addition to the cemetery, are what we're calling Parcel C. That's about a 2.09 acre parcel. That's the to the left of the overall Lidl grocery store there. You can see the kind of triangulated shape of that parcel. That has shared access, circulation, et cetera, with parcels A and D for future development. The top of the screen in the upper right-hand corner, you can see Parcel D. That's an approximately 2.6 acre parcel. Again, shared access, circulation with parcels A and C. So if you're kind of orienting yourself, Norristown Road is along the right-hand side of the screen coming off at an angle. The elementary school is just off of the top of the screen there. So a few sort of key highlights relative to where we are as we've advanced these conversations with staff and some of the review. We have got about just under 15 acres, approximately 14.8 acres of the proposed parcel that we would propose for deed restriction to prevent any future development. So really everything you see, kind of that bright red line there that kind of runs down at a diagonal on the screen, everything to the left of that, all of that existing wooded area, the riparian buffers, all those environmentally sensitive areas would be subject to a deed restriction that would prevent any kind of future development over that portion of the site. The portions of Parcel C and Parcel D, it's a little hard to tell on the screen, but you can see there's sort of a thick dashed line around a portion of Parcel C and a portion of Parcel D. Those would be intended for future development, so they're shown as hatched for potential development down the road. We don't yet have confirmed users there, but there has been significant conversation around those potential users. We have designed the overall layout for these sites, the access points, the driveway circulation points, connections to the roadways, stormwater, et cetera, as all part of this development. So the only thing that would be left for future development, future review and approval would be if ultimately users were identified for Parcel C or Parcel D. Those users at that point would come in for that development. We have focused specifically on a bank for Parcel C and a daycare for Parcel D. There has been quite a bit of interest around that. We are not showing those, however, because we do not have confirmed users yet. What you generally find with this type of development, particularly with these smaller, oh, look at that, thank you. Oh, that would have probably been really helpful earlier. Thank you. So I'll just do this quickly so that we all know what we're talking about. So this red line here, that's that sort of the area of development. Everything to the right of that is the area proposed for development. Everything to the left is that deed restricted area that we were talking about earlier. Parcel A in the center here, this is the Lidl with the parking and access points. Again, Norristown Road along the right-hand side. Parcel C is the triangular one we were just talking about down on the lower level here, or lower end here, and that area with that thicker dashed line, that's the potential future development area. Parcel D, oh, I lost it, here it is. Up at the top here, same idea. That parcel, as you can see, the sort of thick outline, a portion of that would be available for future development. And again, we have been working specifically targeting both a bank and a daycare. We think those are good complementary uses for a site like this. Unfortunately, on these kind of developments, as I'm sure you've heard before, you're probably familiar with this, those smaller level retail and commercial operators really can't commit until there's a further advanced plan and there's some final approvals related to those plans. They can't finance based on perhaps, and they're not sure on exactly what it's going to look like. So they generally need a more formal approval before they can go through their financing. So that's a little bit of why, although we've had quite a bit of interest, we have not been able to advance to any kind of final approvals or final agreements related to those that would then allow us to show specifically what would be laid out there. We do have an NPDES permit for the overall, what we're calling Phase 1 development, which again is really everything you're seeing here. So again, we have included in this design all of the circulation areas, the connections out to the road frontages, the landscaping requirements, all of the stormwater, et cetera, for the entire site. So that all gets done as part of the initial approvals. Those to be developed areas, parcel C and parcel D, those would remain grass lawn area until some point in the future if there were to be a development. Lidl's corporate team has also approved the plan and they have allocated financing for a 2027 occupancy date. So I know there was some concern, I would suspect, with this board. Certainly, I'm sure you remember the prior location for the Lidl. We had been through a couple of different times and with respect to those approvals. This one, I can tell you personally, just from my immediate experience with Lidl, is much further along in the internal improvement approval process at Lidl. They have actually financed it, so they are allocated the funds for it. So they are looking to begin construction, obviously pending approvals. We have also been working with PennDOT, and we've looped staff in on those discussions as we've been moving along regarding roadway improvements. And I'll ask Matt Hammond, our traffic engineer, to walk you through some of those improvements in a moment because they're pretty substantial. We've also been working through with staff on plan reviews. We've been to the Planning Commission for some initial feedback, understanding, of course, that we would need to go back to them. And we have made quite a bit of plan modifications and adjustments along the way in response to a lot of that feedback. Most of the waivers here are actually pretty technical in nature, and we've been working through, again, those with Craig and his team. There are a couple specifically that both we and Craig's office would like some feedback on, having to do with landscape buffers and lighting, that I'll ask Lindsay to kind of walk through in a little bit more detail for you, because those are two that are really more design related and we think are ones that you may have a stronger opinion about, and we certainly would like to hear that. So with that, if you don't mind, I'll have Matt walk us through some traffic.
Mr. Chairman, did you want to see if the board has any questions to this point before we hear from the engineer?
I have one, but does anyone else have any questions?
I have one too.
All right. The only thing I have right now is the hatched area for parcel D. It goes into the deed restricted area. Is that just?
So this area here you're talking about?
Yes.
That would also be deed restricted. So that would include, it's just that the property line is here for that parcel.
So you're subdividing that, but that'll still be under a deed restriction?
Right, so this piece up here would be under the same deed restriction as the rest of this property. There's no intent to touch any of that.
So there would actually be, I guess, 3 open space or easements, because there's 3 parcels. They would get recorded against each parcel.
Yep, you can see sort of where that red line is,
Yeah.
to Craig's point, along parcel C. There's a little bit of area in there too. So it would encompass all those. But again, the intention is everything left of this red line here all becomes existing to remain and deed restricted.
Okay. Kath?
So I have a question on those 2 parcels, the parcel D and the parcel C. So you don't know what's going to be going in there at this time. I would have some considerations on this because I'm not sure what's going to go in there, and I wouldn't want to approve a land development thing for those 2 parcels, not knowing what's going to go in there.
Well, and so to be clear, I think that, and I think that's a fair point. The preliminary approval that we would be seeking relative to this plan would only approve as to what you see here. So it would not give anybody development rights specifically over what would ultimately be there. So in other words, what you would be approving is the Lidl and the layout that you see here, particularly with respect to the circulation, all of the landscaping, the stormwater, et cetera. If, let's say, in a year's time, we identify a bank and they want to move forward, they would have to come in with a fully engineered plan that would have all of the bells and whistles that you would typically see in land development, and that would have to go through its own independent land development review. So you would not be, by granting an approval with respect to this plan, it doesn't mean that any bank can come in and do whatever they want there, or that some other use could go there without that kind of approval. So just like we're going through a preliminary and a final, they would have to do the same thing. And there might be, as a result of that, modifications or amendments that they would have to make their use configured or work in the way that it needs to work within that area. Same up here. So if this was, if we're lucky enough, we find a daycare, we think that's a really compatible complementary use, makes a lot of sense up there, they would have to come in for a full land development. What a plan like this does give those folks, those kind of smaller operators, is comfort that there is a specific area on the site that could accommodate that use, and that those approvals have already been secured. And what that does is kind of give them a little bit of a leg up in terms of timing, right? Because for smaller developers, as much as time is money for big developers, it's even more critical for those smaller guys. They can't absorb a 1 to 2 year development process. And so that's why typically when we do something like this, we're showing the anticipated area of development. But again, all of the design relative to stormwater and circulation and landscaping and all that, that's all been factored in here. So that's what would be approved as part of this plan.
Thank you.
So the parcels will be sold? They're subdivided and they'll be sold?
Likely sold, yes. That, again, for a lot of these smaller operators, the condo system that you often see on larger shopping centers doesn't work as well for them. It's just much tougher for them to get that kind of more structured financing. So the idea would be that these would be conveyed. There would be a whole series of cross-access easements, utility easements, sidewalk, et cetera, that would be part of this, that would be recorded as part of the original overall plan here, so that anybody that was purchasing one of these would be purchasing subject to all of that. So the circulation would continue to be common. There would be agreements within all of those recorded documents relative to maintenance, et cetera. So they would ultimately convey them out is the expectation, but again, they would all function as part of one cross-access center.
So they would be sold then ahead of time? Is that the answer? The parcels, the two parcels?
They would more than likely, we would anticipate that somebody would purchase that parcel, correct? And then they
Okay.
would develop that.
And they would have to come in, and go through the
Right.
whole land development process, so you will see that. Just as if it was a existing parcel now, if a daycare came in, they'd have to go through the process. The only restriction would be, and I agree with everything that was said, is we have worked out staff level at any part of approval would be, they'll be restricted to have a new driveway out on the street road or out into Norristown. And that was actually something big we worked out. I'm sure the traffic engineer was going to talk about it, but if you can see, there's a stub internal to from the parking lot for Lidl that would connect to the two parcels, parcel C and parcel D. Right there's one, and then at the top's the other. So they have agreed, daycare comes in, bank comes in, any type of use, they can't have a secondary access without your approval. So this approval would lock down that layout and all the public improvements. They're also agreeing to do all the public improvements across the entire frontage and not piecemeal it and defer it, which we have in some other smaller projects where they can't afford it, so they wait until the next developer comes in. They've agreed to do all the improvements, and I believe PennDOT is requiring that as well. So full-blown improvements, even if that parcel isn't developed for 10 years, you will have sidewalk widening, landscaping, and your conservation open space easement in the back preserved, and that'll just be a pad site. So,
Okay, thank you.
So you're saying that the ingress and egress on Norristown Road right there, so then there'll be, what are you saying, that they're gonna have to
So
put their
they-
own access? Is that behind the
Well, they-
Lidl
So
So they
building?
would, this is a common access for
both
the
parcels.
site, right? So anybody who wanted to access the site would come in and out through here.
For parcel D
Come
or
in.
A.
And parcel D will, when they come in for their land development, they would show you what that connection internal to the site
Internal,
is.
okay.
Right,
Yeah.
internal to
That
the
may,
site.
that might slightly move right now, it's to at the end, but let's say
Right,
whatever the
it's-
configuration.
Yeah, we're showing it here for now, but.
It would have to
could be-
stay internal. They couldn't add a second driveway out.
And again,
directly.
same thing with the bank. So there's a main, this entry point here, entry exit point here, entry exit point here. That is one of the advantages of this kind of plan proposal where all of this, all of the public improvements, all of this internal circulation is approved as part of this plan and constructed in connection with this plan. So that's all in. And you've got grass here, and so the next person in the door who's looking to purchase this parcel understands it's this area in here that they have to work within. The landscaping all stays, the stormwater all stays, the circulation, and to Craig's point, there's sidewalk along the entire frontage. That all goes in on a plan like this as part of this stage of development, rather than us saying, look, we're only gonna do this here, right? We're gonna leave this all grass, we're gonna leave it all grass and leave it to the next folks in. We've been working with staff on what that would have to look like now, and have agreed that those improvements would all happen as part of this initial first phase.
You could leave it all grass if you wanted.
I mean, it's possible, but.
We wouldn't mind that at all.
I'm sure you wouldn't, and we totally understand that.
Yeah.
This, as you know, and I'm sure you hear from folks all the time, development is expensive. And so funding a project like this, even with Alito as the kind of anchor lead here, it gets, particularly for someone like Lidl on a plan like this where we're saying, look, we're going to do all this work now, even though it's for a potential future development that, it could be a year, it could be 10 years, it may never come.
Can I ask a
Anybody else?
question? I'm trying to figure how I want to word it. There's a lot of grocery stores already in Warminster. When you did your market analysis, how did you determine that Warminster was the place to put in a Lidl?
So I do have, I have Steve here from Lidl, and he can probably speak to that more specifically, and I'm happy to
Okay,
bring
I
it
don't
up.
mean to be aggressive, I don't mean to
No,
sound
no,
aggressive.
it's
I'm
just
just, I'm looking at a lot of our grocery stores that we already have in Warminster Township have been there quite a while. Several of them are, family owned and operated. How does this going to impact them?
Well, I think that, there's always that level of competition, right, among
Oh, yeah,
development. I mean, it will happen, just like any other, development that might come through. I know that Lidl has been interested in this township
Oh, I know.
since, pre-Tesla, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I was here for probably, 3 years, 4 years over the course of that location. They just could never quite get it to work there. It just didn't pencil out because of some other issues on that site. So they have been actively interested in the township for a lot of reasons. And I'm sure Steve can go into those in more detail. But being at the point that they're at, where they have internal real estate approval on the financing of this project to release that for development and construction, that is significantly further along in their review process than they ever were on that other site. So I'm just from my personal experience, I can tell you they're very serious about this site, and they've been looking at it for a while, and they've been looking for a way to be in the township for a while. Happy to bring Steve up, and he can, do you want to do that now, or do you want me to, your pleasure, whichever you prefer.
I mean, I would say, do we have any questions on the does anyone have any questions on the traffic? That may be the better way to do it, is if they
Yeah,
have
so I do
questions rather
have
than.
Matt who can kind of walk
they-
through traffic.
I don't think we need I think it's more, I think they have a good idea. Do you have any specific questions that maybe you could ask? Or
Well,
we
it's-
could just hear about the lighting and the
There is
landscaping.
some, yeah.
I would say
This is
do
a busy
yeah.
intersection, so we do have some traffic concerns here.
Sure, and completely understand. Again, Matt Hammond with Traffic Planning Design, good evening. And I won't spend a lot of time on this, it sounds like everyone's been briefed, but I would mention a couple things. One, we have, at least from the traffic perspective, have been at this, it's about September of 2023, where we initially engaged PennDOT and the township to kind of get a sense of what we would need to provide in order, in terms of roadway, vehicular, pedestrian improvements through this area. Now, as Amy had mentioned, while there's no development shown on parcel C, and D, right? What we did do is we treated this like a master plan. So when we did our initial traffic study, we assumed a bank, parcel C, and a daycare in parcel D, as well as the Lidl, so that when we did the planning for the traffic improvements, we encompassed all of those uses to be able to, again, determine what roadway improvements would be necessary, and then construct them all up front as part of the Lidl, so that this next people, developers or users that came in for parcel C and D, while they would need to come in front of the board and go through the land development process, the likelihood is there'd be minimal, if any, improvements that need to be done and less inconvenience to the residents. So, so at least from a traffic perspective, we planned for those three uses and all the roadway improvements that we've proposed. We have made multiple submissions to PennDOT. The township engineer has been copied on those submissions. We're a week or so away from making our third submission to PennDOT. The latest review letter we received for them had very minimal comments. But just to take a quick overview of the improvements, and I don't know if you can zoom out once. Sure.
Does PennDOT have any concerns at this point?
So they have comments. I think the geometry and all the roadway improvements are essentially agreed upon.
Right.
It's just the details, right? It's the agreements, the temporary construction easements, mill and overlay, signage, striping, tweak this, tweak that.
Well, let me ask you a question, if I may,
Yes.
because it's pretty, your drawing's pretty clear. How, we know how people drive. They pay no attention to traffic control. How do you plan on stopping people making a left on Norristown into that property, where it's right in, right out? What kind of controls are you gonna put in there? Because people, that's gonna get all jammed up. That's
They
a
will.
busy road right now, and if people stop to try to force a left into there, you have to do something in that area, so people it just stops people from trying to make that left,
So
going
that
north
driveway's
on
a full
Norristown.
movement driveway. That's right in, right out, left in, left out. So there's three driveways.
Well, there's the
Driveway
left in,
here.
left out right there.
Yes, this
He
is.
was talking about the street road
I'm
right
talking
in.
about Norristown Road.
driveway.
Oh, no, you're talking about Norristown?
Well, Street Road there and Norristown Road.
Right, so
Yeah.
we have the three, and I'll just real quick go through the three driveways. We have a full access driveway, which creates the fourth leg of the existing signal at South Norristown Road. We have a proposed right in, right out driveway in this location here. And then on Norristown Road, we have a full access driveway, right in, right out, left in, left out.
Well, that's a problem there. You left in and left out is a problem.
So,
I'm sure you did a traffic study, and you're saying that won't get backed up on the street road when people are stopped there trying to make a left, because all the traffic that's turning on the street road, coming south on Norristown, that's backed up past parcel D. So now you're gonna have people stop trying to make a left in going north on Norristown Road, and that's gonna back traffic up all the way back on the street road.
I can't imagine traffic.
I can tell you exactly what's going to happen. I mean, I know you're an engineer, and I work with engineers all the time, and that's what's going to happen, in spite of your traffic study.
Well, and not only that, not to interrupt, but during the morning hours and the afternoon hours, it's 15-mile-an-hour speed zone.
Yeah, and you got school buses there too, right,
Right.
exactly. Good
understood. I
point.
think this was a concern that was raised early on in the process about that driveway. And based on some of the concerns raised and the request of the township engineer, we've studied that section of South Norristown Road North Norristown Road pretty extensively. I understand that everyone's had their experiences and they understand the points in time when the traffic backs up through that area, but I would point out a couple things. One, we did the analysis, we looked at not only the morning peak hour rush, we looked at the school rush, and looked at the PM peak hour rush, as well as the Saturday midday rush. So we looked at 4 different time periods, which would essentially encapsulate the majority of the issues that occur out in this area.
Are they putting a left turn lane in there for?
So we're not putting a left turn lane in there.
Yeah.
So we looked at it a couple different ways. From an analysis perspective, it doesn't meet warrants. Essentially, it's saying that a left turn lane is unnecessary. The reason that is, because one of the things that we're doing here, and I don't know that it has, something that hasn't been looked at very frequently, which is very common in municipalities, is that as part of these roadway improvements that we're doing, it's going to help these 2 legs of Norristown Road operate more efficiently. We're fully modernizing the traffic signal at this intersection. What that means is we're basically ripping out what exists there today, putting all brand-new equipment in. Controllers, coordination,
Left
ADA
turn
ramps.
arrow, yes,
Yes, all
I
of
understand
that.
what you're doing.
Yep,
yes.
all of that.
But the
We're also
question
making-
really is, so here, the question is, Norristown Road, that ingress and egress, that should be a right in, right out only, is that correct?
That is a full access driveway.
So that on the north, right there on Norristown Road, that's full access.
That's a full access
Yeah,
driveway. So when we
that's a
did the-
problem.
So when we did the analysis, we looked at it.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
That's good. Go
Are
right
you
ahead,
all right with
Tom.
that?
I'm all right with that.
How many vehicle trips a day are we talking about?
For the overall development,
Yeah.
when you assume the Lidl, a bank, and a daycare facility, bear with me 1 second.
Craig, do you have a copy of that?
Not with me.
The
you
overall
have a copy of it?
development would generate 173 trips in the morning and 300 trips in the afternoon and Saturday. So about
300
150
trips
vehicles.
at peak?
New trips at peak, combined or split on 3 driveways. So I'm gonna,
What about just the Lidl?
just the Lido would be
If you have
56 in the morning, 175 new in the school afternoon, and 247 during the Saturday midday peak hour. So, what I was about to say was, we looked at the analysis. This driveway is 450 feet back from the stop bar. When we look at the traffic and it backs up, we were finding queues for the most part, and it's not to say it doesn't exceed it at certain times, but the average queue was approximately 250 feet back. And that's taking into
yeah.
account all of the improvements that we're proposing to do, as well as the signal timing modifications and adjustments to the timing, the new signal phases. So there's a lot of things that are occurring in this area which combined are going to help improve the safety and the efficiency and flow of traffic in this area. So it's hard to, I know what you've experienced and I know what you see
I
every
live
day.
here. I live here.
Understood.
So, and I'm just, all I'm saying is, look, I know you're going to do some traffic improvements. What I'm saying is that as soon as the cars stop to make the left into that driveway, it's going to back traffic up on Norristown Road, and it's going to back it up at peak hours back on the street road, and then cars are not going to be able to make the left on the arrow. I've seen this. I drive by that thing all the time, and it's a mess now. So in spite of your improvements, that's going to be a problem, is if cars have to make a left into that driveway off of Norristown Road. That's a problem.
They should just come
That's
down
all I'm
to the
saying.
road. Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it's a fact, it's a problem. So in spite of all your studies, it's a problem.
So I can appreciate that.
Yeah, I
obviously,
understand, you know, and I appreciate you guys, because I know how traffic studies go, and I mean, I've been involved in them a million times. I mean, I've worked with engineers, they work for me. I get it, I understand this, but you guys are going to engineer that, that's going to be a problem, and then everybody walks away, and we're stuck. Our police department and our emergency people are going to be stuck dealing with that all the time.
Understood.
So, all I'm asking is, what else can we do?
So what I
You
would
don't
tell
have to answer now.
No, I-
No, you don't have
If
to
you
answer
have, hey, you guys are looking for feedback, this is the feedback, right?
Understood.
So,
I would say.
you don't have anything in your pocket now, you guys can work.
No, I'm not asking for an answer right now. I
No,
understand you would have
I would love to answer. I would
Okay.
love to answer, because I think, again, and I understand the experience that you've had, you drive through this area every single day. I will tell you from the multiple traffic studies and analysis that we've done, when you take into consideration the roadway improvements, we're able to improve how traffic flows through the area. Now,
I'm not laughing at you, I just heard this story a million times, that's all.
I can tell you, I've been doing it for 30 years, and
Yeah.
I've had these same conversations thousands of times, and there's always skepticism in terms of providing roadway improvements, because it's difficult to imagine what you've seen every day for 30, 40, 50 years.
No, that's
to
not
see
true
a
on my
change.
end, sorry, no.
So-
Because I
But
keep going.
If I could,
Yeah.
if I could. So, in the alternative, let's assume that no lefts in and no lefts out of that drive, it's a right in, right out only driveway. Okay?
Okay.
So now what you've done is, anyone that wants to make a left and go north Norristown Road, or north, now has to come down through the site to this signal. Okay? Follow me so far?
Yep.
Then they gotta make a left. They're gonna come up to this signal, and they gotta make a left.
Yep.
You've added 2 additional lefts to the signalized intersections, and left turns are always the most impactful at a signalized intersection. So what you're doing is, while obviously we disagree on how this driveway will operate, what I can say is that we are introducing additional lefts at these signals, which are gonna negatively impact street road. 100% guaranteed. So by
I
allowing these
understand
lefts
that.
out and these lefts in here, we're taking some of the impact away from street road. We've looked at this, and again, we're not going away. And I think, as Amy mentioned, phase 1 of this is the lead-all. When there's other users that come in, if there truly is a problem with people getting in and out, which I don't feel there is, and I understand you disagree,
I do.
we're here.
Mhm.
We're here to make whatever adjustments are necessary. We're not going anywhere.
Okay. All right.
I think the left out makes sense because if you're gonna be putting a daycare there, parents are gonna wanna drop their preschoolers off there and then go to the left and then drop off at the elementary school. Coming out of the parking lot.
Next thing, after the 17 accidents, there'll be a traffic light there.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
And then that'll just make matters worse.
I agree, I agree.
So, all right, well, that's one concern we have. And, you've answered it. Your traffic study shows that that's not the case, so we'll move on.
It's practical, it's just like a car wash
Yeah, I
that backs
understand.
up. It's like a fast food at lunch hour. All the analysis, I mean, our hands are tied to a certain point. I know that's why you're not calling on Leslie or myself, because all the analysis, it meets the criteria. I understand what he's saying, and there's a practical nature of us, you guys living there and understanding that intersection better than,
Than the traffic study.
PennDOT traffic, and it's real world application. And I understand what he's saying is there are going to be improvements, but
Yeah, no, I
you know,
get it.
It's
I
his
get
job
the
to
improvements.
prove that it works, and I understand both sides.
Well, yeah, and look, I guess my question really is, what if it doesn't work? Then we're going to come back to you, and you guys are going to commit to change that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, that's part of, this process, sort of getting this feedback. We look back, obviously, we always double check everything, make sure that, everything's, PennDOT's reviewing it as well. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, as part of any kind of a land development approval, particularly one like this where Lidl will be the owner-operator of that primary piece, you have land development agreements that we have to live by that are, the property has to function as approved, and if it doesn't, the township has the absolute right and ability to require further deviation. If we need to work through, conditions of approval around that so that there's a greater comfort level, I mean, there's always ways that we can kind of, as we're moving through this process, provide some of those kind of safeties and guardrails in place to give you the comfort that if something's not working the way
Well,
that it's
why don't we
supposed to,
say
that-
that's something that you guys are going to work on after you leave here tonight?
we'll absolutely continue to take a look
and,
at
and come up with, something that would assuage and give comfort to the board, who clearly are uncomfortable with this layout. I'm sorry, Janice, did I interrupt you?
No, I'm waiting for you to finish. I can be patient.
Okay.
I got the hook.
Did.
Are you done yet?
In your road modifications, currently the road is here and the land is here. Is that gonna be brought down so it's level? Or are you just gonna build it up on top of the hill?
No, I think there's a fair amount of grade still.
There's a fair amount of grade. You can see, again,
It's hard to, yeah.
as part of that, there's sidewalk all along here as well. So we'll have to meet those ADA requirements as far as cross slopes and grades and things of that nature. So we're actually adding a section of sidewalk that, if you're familiar with South Norristown Road, as it approaches Street Road, the sidewalk kind of comes up and then curves around behind the landscaped corner there.
Yes.
And then comes down Street Road. We're actually building a connection from where that starts to curve up to here, and then adding ADA ramps and a crosswalk.
Okay.
So you can get across Street Road, but then in addition, you'll have sidewalk all around and through the property. We're also improving some of the crosswalks that exist here at North Norristown Road. So we're
Okay.
trying to do is what we can, not only from the vehicular standpoint, but also from the pedestrian standpoint as well.
Okay.
So I
appreciate
don't
that.
see any of the elevations on the parcel itself. So I think Janice's question is how much earth are you planning on moving or removing?
That's really more of a question for Lindsay, and we can bring her up. Are there any other traffic questions? And I'll ask Matt to have a seat, and we can bring Lindsay up.
I think we're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to ask Lindsay to answer that question. She's the civil engineer, and she can sort of talk you through some of the balancing going on this site. There is a lot of grade along the road frontages, as you accurately pointed out, that we're kind of battling in some
Yeah.
places and other places leaving as is, particularly along the portions of the site where we're deed restricting it. We don't want to touch that. There's big grade changes there. There's no connectivity to the adjoining property as it is. That's where the cemetery is. We would actually have to get involved with potential grave relocations, because a couple of those are pretty close to the road. So like, we're not doing any of that. We want to leave all that sort of where it is, and that's wooded now, and the proposal is to leave that as it is. Along our portion of the site where we are developing, there obviously are some grade changes that have to happen there. And while I have heard there, I'm going to ask her as well, there were, as I mentioned earlier, there were a couple of waivers in particular related to landscaping and lighting we wanted to talk to you about, so we'll have her go through those as well.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lindsay Brailinger with Bowler, civil engineer for the project. So to answer the grading question, I know you guys are all familiar. So the grade is, there's a pretty substantial grade change between the intersection of Norristown Street and then the wooded area. So essentially, we are, grading down, and then the pads are a little bit flatter, and then there is a pretty substantial grade change after the pads. However, as Amy explained, the red marking that we have shown there, we are not grading within that area. That's undisturbed area. That's actually a wetland buffer line, so
Yeah.
that is untouched. So we are only disturbing the area that is to plan right of that red line. We are trying to do the best we can to, not have any import or export. So that's the plan as of now, to try to even out the grade throughout the site.
Okay.
Does that answer the question?
How
Yeah.
high is it, how high is that shown, there's a retaining wall proposed?
Sure.
I don't know if there's.
All right, so that's probably, so down here at the corner, where it's
Okay.
about
Right.
12 feet high, you're going to put a retaining wall.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
okay,
it
all right.
varies. So here's the wall, like around, around this buffer line. And that's really to stay out of the buffer area. We're providing that retaining wall.
So you're removing, like right there at Norristown Street Road?
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's, the other, North Norristown.
Norristown.
Keep going,
Up here?
Up there.
come on down, come on down to the corner of Street and.
At the
and-
intersection.
There you go.
What are you doing
Right there, what's
That's what
going
we're
on there?
concerned
Because
about.
that's about 12 feet, I think, and change from the street to the,
Right, so we are grading down at that location. Okay, so that
Okay.
is your main concern, let me get
well, that was the question, yes.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure which intersections I was.
it's okay.
That's okay, that's all right.
So that intersection is at approximately 278. And so we are filling in that intersection, or just to the side of the intersection. The parking lot area is at 277. And then the finished floor of the building is at 278. So the building itself, while we'll grade down into the parking lot area to create drainage, the building itself is going to be fairly level with the intersection. And then there is a large, or a stormwater basin behind the building, so we'll be grading down behind the building in that location.
So,
There'll be about a 6-foot change in grade from the right in, right out on street. That's around 272.
Yep.
And then the pad site, and it varies between 277 and 278. So 5 to 6 feet grade change, you'll be going up.
From the right in, right out.
Right, from the right in, right out.
now
Right at the intersection, the signalized intersection of, right there, you're at like 278, So actually, it's pretty much dead flat right in there,
Exactly.
278,
You're taking a
277.
lot of earth out there.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
oh yeah, existing grade is 282.
Right, okay.
Yes, so, there you go, probably 5 or 6 feet.
5 or
in
6
there.
feet, okay.
So they're taking about half of it.
And they're gonna-
And then at the intersection of Norristown, it's at about 287 at that intersection. So then we're grading down along this.
So that'd be an
access point.
that's actually 8 to 10 foot drop down. That's the steepest part.
Oh,
Like she said, you'll be at 287,
Mhm.
and you'll drop down to 276.
Yep.
So
And that's
there's a
on the
wall
corner
there
of-
then to protect
That's
the-
at this
That's not
Norristown.
That's higher than the
Yeah,
one down at
you're
the
going
other
up the
corner?
hill when you're
It
going
is.
up there, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Adding another lane there as well? No. Whoops. Sorry.
Sorry, what was your question?
Will you be adding another lane?
Is there
Is that a possibility, say that?
a
We're
turn lane?
adding another lane on Street Road, a deceleration lane, right turn
So-
lane, yes.
Okay, what about on Norristown?
We're now proposing to add another lane.
Okay. Would that answer, would that help the left turn problem? If
Yeah,
we had
you
it?
did a left turn lanes, that would help.
Yeah, that,
I don't know that you have the room.
Yeah.
yeah.
As part of that, and as part of the discussion on the driveway on North Norristown Road, which we talked about before, as I mentioned, this was brought up in the past by township staff and their professionals as well as some discussions with PennDOT. We looked at whether or not additional widening could be done to provide for a left turn lane, because if there's a left turn lane into this driveway, you have to have a back-to-back left. You have to have the left here coming down North Norristown Road, right? You
Right.
can't, no one wants to see the widening start here, and you're have a 150-foot gap. So you're gonna have back-to-back left turn lanes.
Right.
The problem is the configuration of the shopping center driveway. So if you're familiar with that driveway, that approach is 3 lanes, but it's a left, then a through left, and then a right. So 3 separate lanes, left, shared through, left, and a right. When you try to align, you try to add a left turn lane here,
Bless you.
and still keep the alignment on the opposite side of the road, it's significant
Yeah.
changes would need to occur there, because, again, the shopping center driveway is 3 lanes coming to the signal and 2 lanes coming away from the signal, right? 2 lanes into the shopping center. You would have to shift all of that over 1 lane, and by doing so, you eliminate 1 full lane coming into the shopping center. And then once you get into the shopping center, it has 2 lanes, you can go straight, the outside lane, you can go right, the inside lane, you can go left. So it would be a significant undertaking to try to provide a left turn lane, not only just for this approach, but going up Norristown Road.
Okay.
So it may be hard, a little bit hard to
No,
visualize, but
no,
it is something.
I understand. I just thought it'd be easier just to take some out of the, where you're taking the dirt away anyway, and make that a lane.
Where you more you go that way, there's no alignment available
Okay.
on the
That's
other
fine.
side.
I was just trying to.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, it's a great question.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Would it be okay if I went through the landscape items?
Sure.
Okay. So the main landscape item that we wanted to run through with you all was regarding the buffers along the property lines and the road frontages in particular. So your ordinance has a class 1 and class 2 buffer. So we're really requesting partial waivers from both of them in order to kind of soften the buffer area. As you can see on the plan, we are providing pretty significant amount of trees, shrubs along Street Road and then also Norristown Road as well. But the partial waivers, to soften that buffer and then also to really work with your township engineer to understand, what they would recommend for that area. What type of trees, canopy evergreen, what type of shrubs, plantings that they would like to see in that location. And those areas are high. I don't know if you can see I can just outline them in like the red dashed areas on this plan. But essentially here,
That would be mostly the shrubs there, and then you have the higher trees there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
That makes
And-
sense, yeah.
And we do have a street tree, there's a street tree requirement as well. The one thing I did want to note though about this particular waiver, we are meeting the number of trees for the northern property line adjacent to the school property. So that has all of the amount of trees and shrubs that your ordinance requires for that buffer. The only waiver that we're requesting for that is the placement, because there's an existing path that we aren't creating the path that's there today. It's just not being removed. So for the location of the trees and shrubs, because they kind of straddle that path, which is shown on this plan as well, if you scroll up to the north or in front of you.
So,
Go back down again?
Yes, please.
as she's doing that, tying in both those, it's more of an informal planting arrangement and species type. And they like a little more flexibility. I've worked with them on that. We've done that
As
before.
long as we have greenery, you know, that we'll be happy campers.
Yeah, well, it's, as you know, it's tight in there already with the
Yes,
grade
it
changes,
is.
utilities, sidewalk,
Right.
signal.
There's also a sewer line that travels down North Town Road and Street Road in the frontage where the landscaping is right now. So that's staying, that's your sewer, a sewer main for the township.
Jen, if you could keep going a little further north on that plan, I think we can see
The top of the parcel.
Right, yeah, so there's trees and shrubs shown up right here, and then this was the path that I was mentioning
I went
before.
back to the old pool.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna
then-
say there used to be a pool back there.
That's where that went.
Okay, yeah, and then another like layer of
So what do we
buffering
need
as
that
well.
path for?
Yeah, I was just gonna,
You don't need
sorry.
that, yeah, they ripped that pool out, they don't need that path.
Why is that path staying?
Yeah, why are you leaving the path? It doesn't,
There are some buildings back there, there's necessarily.
Yeah, I know that there was,
The pool house they tore down, I don't know what else is back there.
There's debris
I don't
mainly.
think there's anything back
We
there.
asked Christ Home the same question. There's some utility access back
Oh,
there,
okay.
some utility structures that periodically,
So
so
you-
it's not, it's
You'll
not
need to have an
cut in
easement
any
though,
way.
so you'll need to have a
There-
cross easement.
I think there is
I
one.
think it exists.
Oh,
There is an
okay.
existing
Okay.
easement there.
So that little path is accessed periodically by whatever utility, I wanna say it might have been sewer.
There's a sewer line that runs through there as well.
So-
So that's, yeah.
Any
so we're-
future development, parcel D, obviously, we would condition upon they can't access that either. so-
Right, and
And you're
it's not,
fine with
there's
that.
no connection into the rest of the center.
Right,
There's no
right,
intention to use
okay.
it for the center, it's just retained for that utility access.
Okay.
Okay.
The light,
The lighting,
Okay.
yeah, I was gonna go through the lighting now too.
actually, you know what, I
Sure.
could cut you off a little bit. I think, and I understand, the lighting waiver was, and we've had this before, is for security and safety purposes. It's still a very low level. They've agreed, I've discussed it with them, to add a note that if there's any complaints by anybody that and we do this in other projects, they would agree to adjust the lighting, provide shields, or redirect the lights. But the lighting is just to exceed it in certain areas, and I actually prefer that at the intersections, and then for security lighting around the buildings for vandalism and just loitering. So they've agreed that they will add that note, and I'm okay with that waiver.
You're okay with it, Craig? We're okay.
Thank you, Craig.
Whatever Craig says.
That's right, whatever Craig says.
Yeah,
Are
let's,
there any other questions
No.
for?
I think we totally vetted this, don't you think?
yeah, well,
Make sure.
Got
you
it,
know,
no more than I wanted.
I think one of the bigger problems, one of the biggest things is, we're, you know, the parcels. There are certain things that we can't have on there, one being gas stations. And, some other, we don't, you know, we don't want, I guess, fast food places. I mean, a bank and the other place is okay, but, can't be a gas station.
And certainly, we'll take a look at the zoning code and see if there's any uses, and we can
Yeah.
work with Craig.
I mentioned it
definitely if
before,
there's-
I mean, they want to keep it open, but I know the hots, you just mentioned a couple of them. Maybe we could work, you look at what's permitted, and you
Yeah.
could have a list, and we could maybe attach that as, so they know it's going to be this range, and it's not outside of that
Right.
as part of the preliminary approval.
That's
Yeah,
great.
I
That
mean,
is a
we
great
can
idea.
absolutely take a look at that.
Okay.
We're, we can't restrict it, obviously, too tightly, because that.
There's just a few that
But we
they,
know if there's hot button ones,
Mhm.
we're not interested in that.
Appreciate
We don't want
that.
to yell at us, we get it, so, we can certainly take a look at that, so if there's particular restricted uses, that kind of thing, we can.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have another question. Is there any particular in or out that they would utilize for deliveries in and out of Lidl?
Yeah, I think we did, we did it down, sorry.
Yeah, the plan is down. Essentially, it's going to be the right-in, right-out driveway that was on Street Road.
Okay.
Okay.
Look, it was a little bit oversized. The reason that is because when we pulled in the driveway opposite South Norristown Road, we were squeezed between providing the appropriate geometry, according to PennDOT, and the wetlands on the one side. So that's why you see that driveway when it comes in, it's got a short throat and then it curves around. We couldn't make that driveway work for a truck.
That's what I was wondering.
The turn was too tight. So, as part of the discussions, we agreed to restrict that driveway to no more than like a box truck at the largest for the signalized driveway, and then the right-in, right-out driveway,
I know, I was looking at
which again, why it's a little bit oversized, is to accommodate the Lidl deliveries.
And that,
And that is the bay right there.
That's the bay?
Yep. So this would be the Lidl, this would be the delivery driveway for Lidl. This would be restricted to no more than a single unit box truck.
yeah.
Okay.
So they're gonna have to come in there and
They come
make some
in
kind of
and
maneuver to
back
back in,
into
yeah,
the-
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Where's the
All right.
main entrance?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait,
For-
front there.
Okay.
What's that flow look like for the tractor trailer?
Tractor trailer comes in,
Turns into the parking lot and then backs.
backs right into the loading box.
Parking lot and goes,
Yep, and then it goes right back out.
there's going to be a lot of traffic coming in all different directions.
Yeah, that just,
Yes, sir. Well, they're
Well, they do that
delivered.
during off-peak hours.
Yeah, they're delivered at
Yeah,
4 or 5 in the morning.
that. Once you do a cut fill analysis, I was,
It wouldn't be there when it's.
Do they have one?
peaks, but yeah.
Shall they ask them?
No. I wasn't prepared for that.
Thank you.
I think you did it.
I thought I did
You
it.
did it.
Yes. We were just talking about cut and fill analysis, that's all.
I was gonna, I saw, Joe and I were looking at each other. Have you submitted new plan, when you submit, you'll need to sit down and, the fire marshal did a review like a year ago. So he'll need to look at the new plans and you'll need to get sign off from him as well, so.
Yeah, and I think we're close right on. We're ready to go, I think, on resubmittal.
We have a few more things to
We got a
address.
couple little things.
And
to
before I
clean up.
forget, Matt, before you resubmit to PennDOT, we did do a review of the HOP. Leslie and we'll be issuing that probably next week. It's pretty highly technical, but I'd like you to have that before you go back to PennDOT. It's not on layout as much as just your HOP design plans. So
Okay.
we'll get that to you next week at the
That'd be
latest,
great.
all right?
So then, yep, we'll be ready to go back into them.
All right, well, we really appreciate the time. I know this was more than the 5 or 10 minutes.
That's okay. Thanks for working with our
Well,
It's very
engineers.
helpful.
well spent.
Thanks for your patience.
No, it's very helpful for us, to know where those couple of situations are. We'll
Yeah.
go back and sharpen our pencils and-
And I'm sure the neighbors will be around to give you some more feedback.
Oh, yes.
We've had a few of them. The one gentleman, I was kind of hoping he was going to be here tonight. He comes every time to say he thinks it's great, so we always like when he shows up.
It's good to hear. Okay. Thanks for working with our staff. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Okay. Let's move on to consider ordinance 782, amending chapter 5, part 4, the fire prevention and life safety standards. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, any questions or comments? Tom, is there anyone we need to bring up to discuss this, or just?
I mean, I can do it quickly. Your International Property Maintenance Code, your International Fire Code, we've been operating under the 2018 version. We're just upgrading it to the 2021 version. Just newer codes, newer vetted. There is an even newer one that's a 2024, but that those haven't been adopted by the state yet. Until the state does it under the UCC, we can't do it. So
Okay.
just bringing up the newest revelation, and I would assume, Joe, when we get to the point that that's adopted, we'll end up doing that again, unfortunately.
Yeah, okay. All right, any other questions or comments from the board,
No, none at this time.
from the public? All right, being none, let's call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries 5-0. Okay, consider the amusement tax fee ordinance number 783 amendment, chapter 24 of the Warminster Township Code. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, Thomas, you want to give us a brief
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the board, we're increasing the tax/fee, it's a fee, the state calls it a tax, per device from $170 to $340 annually. That's what this action does.
And this, the last time that fee was increased was 2002,
That is correct.
and now it's 2026, so.
Yes.
Long time overdue.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
The
From
public understands what that is, what those machines are.
Feel free.
When you go into your 7-Elevens now, your ShopRite, a lot of your small businesses have casino-type games in them, and that's what these machines are, that they're now going to be charged a fee for each one of those has been increased.
Okay, thank you, Janice.
Thank you.
And the claw at the bowling alley, too.
Oh, well, the claw shouldn't count.
Oh, it's a game. It's a game of skill. If you can get something in that claw, that is a game of skill.
Forget
That's
that.
true.
Never
But
get anything
that's
to
for
claw.
kids.
Kids get stuck in.
All right, any questions or comments from the public? All right, being none, let's call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Public comment? Anyone? Hello?
Hi, how you doing?
I'm okay.
All right, my name is Michelle Squissamara, and I live on Pelham Avenue, and currently I serve as the president of the Warminster Libraries Board. I wanted to enter my concerns about the paving in the library's parking lot and the crumbling sidewalks and curbs. In the last 2 years, I have had a front row seat to 2 serious injuries that have occurred in the library's parking lot. After seeing the work that was done at Log College's lot this summer, we were under the impression that the library's lot was going to be lumped into that project, and if you have been to the library today, it has not.
So you know we don't own that.
I know you don't own it.
Okay, thank
Oh,
you.
yeah,
The
but
school
that's why
board, the
I'm-
school owns that.
That's why I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, I do want to note that the weather has not been great, but the conditions are more apparent when the weather is bad. So we've had a lot of rain, we've had some snow, and we're going to get some more snow. And every day that passes, the library on the exterior looks worse. So 2026 is an important year for the library as we prepare to celebrate the building's 50th anniversary. The staff, the board, and the Friends of the Warminster Library have a full slate of special events planned throughout the year, but I don't think that the township should take action just because of special programming. It behooves the township to ensure that a community hub like the library is both safe for all of our friends, families, and neighbors, and also attractive on the exterior. So thank you for your time.
Oh, my pleasure, thank you. And thanks for,
Well said.
you guys do a great job there.
You do.
So we brought that up several times. The school board
school board.
said to us, we should pave that. And we said, well, you own it. We only own the building. So we maintenance the building and maintain the building, but they own the land. So they should be considering paving that property. I mean, we'll do what we can to keep people from hurting themselves, but that expense should be borne by the school board because they own the property. Unless they want to, we've already reached out to them to renegotiate the lease agreement. If they want to transfer that property to us, then we'll pave it. But until we own it, that's, we're not, makes no sense.
My biggest concern being that there is not a building in the township that is more highly trafficked.
No, I understand that, but it's a legal thing now.
Again, with a legal thing, that I'm concerned that this will cost somebody, specifically the township, if someone gets hurt worse than what I have seen with my.
I understand,
Yeah.
but the school board owns it.
Sure.
So I don't know how that falls on the township. But anyway, we'll be more than happy to negotiate something with the school board to take that property over. I have no issues with that. As a matter of fact, we've been actually trying to reach out to them, and I don't think they've gotten back
No,
to us.
this was something that was posed back in July or
Yeah,
August.
so a year ago, we started to move this ball forward.
Yeah. Like I said, I thought that the lot was gonna get paved in the summer of 2025. So when Log's lot looks gorgeous and the libraries does not.
Well, once again,
Yeah.
the issue's over there, not here, you know, and if they want to actually come down and renegotiate our lease or transfer that parcel to us, we'll take care of that. But in the meantime, we'll try to keep it safe from people. We don't want anybody to hurt themselves, and that is, you know, that library does have a lot of traffic, so we appreciate the concern. But we have 5 million other things that we need to pave. There's massive potholes all over the place, and, you know, so, anyway, thank you. Johnny? Welcome back, John. We missed you.
I know. I was sick the last time, had a bad cold. John Prevost, 674 Joseph Avenue. Two things I want to talk about. I'll try to keep it brief. One is, whenever I had the pleasure of paying my school taxes at the park, and they had the food drive over there, giving away a lot of food. Line was pretty heavy, but my opinion, and maybe you'll understand what I'm thinking, is maybe the choice of location wasn't so good. There's probably some other areas in the township that probably those people that are in those areas need more help than what they got. I was standing there, had the pleasure of watching guys with a Land Rover fill the back of his vehicle up, a Lexus, and then I saw the older lady and the older man coming out with a small roast, and they were smiling and they were happy to get one meal, and while these other two people were filling the back up. So my opinion was, and they parked far enough away that they didn't get seen in what kind of vehicle they were using. So it does happen. We know it happens all over the place. But maybe if we put it in an area that's a little more distressed, you'll get a little more benefit from that.
John,
That's
I
my
agree with you, but there's places in this township that are for low income, and that's what I see is Land Rovers and BMWs.
Yeah, okay, well, you can
So,
call it that.
you know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
Yeah.
The other thing, just an observation, I was driving through the neighborhood the other day, it was a few weeks back, and I saw a young kid, maybe 9, 10 years old, on his little e-bike. No helmet. Right after Christmas, I guess the parents bought it, and he stopped at the stop sign, he was on the sidewalk, and I stopped and said, "Where's your helmet at?" "I don't have one." "So we'll go back home and tell your mother to get you a helmet." So then I started poking around. Are they considered motorized vehicles? According to the PA law, not yet. There's some townships that are banning them, and they want them registered like a car. But according to what I was reading, 20 miles an hour, 50 watts or whatever it was, doesn't make them considered a motorized vehicle. The other thing is, it also says in the law that you have to be 16 to drive them. So I guess we're ill-informed in the public side of it, and maybe we could get some kind of a letter out or email or something on the site to make sure the parents are buying them helmets. It's not up to me to determine whether they should be riding them or not, but it did say in there that you had to be at least 16. So, but you know how the law is. When I was a kid, if you had a mini bike, you were getting
chased.
All the time.
You were getting chased.
It
That's
wasn't
right.
good. And now it's like, okay, they're running four-wheelers around and all kinds of other stuff, but
Yeah. Well, I
that's
think
what
in New Jersey, they just, now you have to register them, you have to be licensed.
Right. So it's
So,
going to happen eventually. It's
yeah.
just when the lawmakers catch up to the whole thing.
Well, we can put it in our newsletter, John.
Yeah, I would think just for the helmet issue would be
Yeah.
the most
Yeah.
important thing.
And wear some
You
high
would think, you would
vis.
think somebody would want to.
I think if I was the parents and I saw that little chubby kid riding his e-bike, I would have put him a regular bicycle. But who am I to say? All right, that's all
All
I
right,
have.
thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Anyone else? All right.
One more.
Sure.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, come on up.
I wasn't planning on it, so I'm sorry.
That's
That's
okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Alexandra Boryanchikova. I live on Pelham Avenue. I did want to mention, I do agree with you, Mr. Hayes, about the traffic. My kids go to Willowdale. I drop them off to Before Care at 7 in the morning. I work at Law College, so I see the traffic going to before care, or if I'm in the pickup line after school. As soon as I'm done Law College, I go get my boys. There's heavy traffic. There's 3 pickup times that go around. And then there's parents after the 3rd round still pick up the kids. And we stand there to get out for quite a bit. So there's traffic there, and it's an issue now. So I can't even imagine what it's gonna
I know, and that's
cause
why,
with the
that's why I
schools.
raised that
And I
question.
see it every single day.
Yeah.
Going to before care, going to regular time. If I leave on time and I get them, or if I get them and they go to aftercare, I see traffic all,
Yeah,
so.
we appreciate you.
That's a huge
Thank
issue,
you.
and
It is.
I thank you for supporting that.
Thank you.
Because a lot of
Yeah.
residents are concerned about that. I'm surprised that nobody showed up to speak about it, because it's a big concern.
I'm hoping they don't show up
Right. We're hoping they
after
don't. Well,
it's, you know.
I didn't come here for this.
No, I
I wanted the
understand.
picture contest.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I didn't even know this was being discussed today. But
Thank you for staying.
I
Yeah,
stayed because
appreciate
I
it.
saw the plans, and I'm like, oh, let me hear and add the traffic concern. So
Yeah.
that's a huge concern, and I'm a single mom, so I gotta, be there, and I can't be late if I'm coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
But the other thing I wanted to mention real quick is the snow removal issue. So I live on Pelham and St. Charles.
Okay.
We didn't get the plow until Monday at 11 o'clock. So we had heavy snow Saturday, not a single plow came by. We had heavy snow on Sunday, not a single plow came by. The snow was not cleaned Saturday, Sunday. We came out to clean the snow when the sun came out on Monday, and that's when the plow came by the first time. I messaged the Facebook page. I reached out to Andrew.
Yeah, I didn't go to work because I couldn't.
Yeah, and I'm lucky that it was Saturday and Sunday. Last year, the same thing happened. I missed a couple days of work because of the ice. The roads were not salted, and I had to take my sick days and stay home with the boys because I couldn't get out.
Okay.
So it's if
Yeah,
you're
we'll
familiar,
have a look,
we
because
we
I-
get missed, I think, with
Yeah.
St. Charles and I mean Pelham, and I'm on St. Charles.
Okay.
So maybe we get
Right
missed.
by the old farmhouse there, I know where.
Yeah, I'm the corner house there, so, we've been watching for the plow for 2 days, and I messaged,
Well, I know they sold it on Saturday, but we'll look at the GPS. That's why we have it in all
yeah,
vehicles.
please.
And we'll get back to you on
We're
that,
home
but
and
they
looked after
didn't plow till, that was an unusual storm this time.
Yes.
And, I think on Sunday, we were told it's only going to be about an inch of snow, which is not
It
plowable.
was bad.
And then they got hit, and by then, those guys had already worked 16 hours, so they plowed that Monday morning. They came in at 6 o'clock.
Monday, when we were cleaning
Yeah.
our driveway, we saw
I
the
mean-
plow finally the first time.
Well, they take so much
10:30
downtime when they work
or
16
11.
hours.
Yeah, you have to have
You have
sleep,
to.
or else we'll be plowing right into cars.
By law.
Yeah.
People be falling
I
asleep.
with the
understand.
CDL.
When it
Yeah.
falls on when we have a school delay, it's fine, but
Yeah.
last year we didn't have a delay, and I drove in ice, and I regretted
Yeah.
leaving my house, because there's no salt, and I go at 7 in the morning to drop off my boys to before care, to be at log at 7.
Yeah, we'll have a look, and
So-
we'll make sure that your
Yeah, it's a
street's
concern
covered.
every
Yeah,
year.
absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for your time.
You're welcome. Thanks for sticking around. All right, anyone else? Okay. Let's go to the consent agenda. Consider approval of the Board of Supervisors minutes dated December 5th, 2025. Consider approval of the Board of Supervisors minutes dated January 5th, 2026. Consider approval of escrow release number 1 for 1250 West Bristol Road, Toner Homes, in the amount of $320,150. Excuse me, consider approval of escrow release for 900 York Road in the amount of $55,987.24. And consider approval of memo of understanding between Warminster Township Police Department, Bucks County, and Flock Safety. Is there a motion?
Motion.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments from the board? Comments from the public? All right, being none, let's call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carries 5-0. Mary?
The approval of the bill dated January 22nd, 2026, the amount of $2,274,900 $9.13, and the approval of the supplemental bill list dated December 31st, 2025, in the amount of $1,388,154.89, for a total of $3,662,164.02.
Motion to pay the bills?
Motion.
Second? Any questions or comments from the board, from the public? Being none, let's call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. John? Good news tonight?
I will do my best to be the shortest person.
That would be fantastic.
That's tough.
So as usual, things are looking very positive.
I went right over John's head.
Revenues are up 349,000 through the end of November in the general fund. So we're looking good there. Revenues are actually at exactly 100% through the end of November. So we have some extra revenues. So we're actually going to be above budget on revenues through the end of the year, which is the way we always want it to be.
Good news.
On expenses, we're at 93%. We're at 92% throughout the year, so we're running right on schedule. The almost exactly the same as last year. Other good news.
We're talking about November of 25, not
this month. Yeah, November of 25. Yes.
Well, thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Through the end of the year, though, I did look, like I started working on the audit stuff. Good news, almost everyone's paying their taxes. We've received 99.1% of our real estate taxes. What was billed out and then what was received through the end of December. There was 110 parcels that did not pay, which is right on, like usual, usually doesn't pay. But out of 10,300 and some, only 110 did not pay. So like we're looking really good on that. So through the end of the year, like I'm really positive thinking that in 2 weeks when we do the December financials, we're going to look just as good.
Glad to hear it,
Well,
John.
thank you,
And
John.
we want to
Thank
thank
you.
all the residents for
Yes.
paying their taxes on time. It really helps us when it comes to operating this township.
Yes,
Thank you, John.
absolutely.
All righty. No unfinished business, no new business. Thomas, I think the floor is yours.
Thank you. So our next meeting, we have some choices. We can do February the 5th or February the 19th. What is your pleasure?
February 5th.
February 5th.
February 5th.
All right, we'll see everybody back here on the 5th. It's 2 weeks away.
Right.
Sounds
So you
good.
want Joe to come up here and say something?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to introduce Joe Velton, the township's supervisor.
Joe, I wasn't letting you off that easy. You thought you got off the hook,
Calm
huh?
down.
Come on down, John.
You can hold it over, John, if you beat a minute and 36 seconds.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. You asked for some instruction or just basically talk about what happens during these weather events, severe weather events, cold blue. Everyone hears about a code blue when you hear about the shelters or when you hear about warming centers. So I'm just going to give you some high-end stuff. The code blue declaration comes from Bucks County. That's who issues it. They're the lead responsible agency for that. They will issue it. They'll coordinate with the shelter locations, and they do a rotation throughout the cold season of where people go, and then they'll coordinate some kind of shelter or shelter transportation too. So our job here is to just promote it, advertise it, get it out to emergency services so that when we're out in the street and we have an encounter, we have a process to help these people, or at least give them an option, because that turns out to be a thing too. They may not take the option. But code blue usually happens when it's 20 degrees for a sustainable time. So 20 degrees is kind of their boiler number, and it's usually 3 or 4 days. And you usually see it. It'll come up on a Monday, and they'll say it's code blue activated 7 p.m. on a Monday, coming down on a Wednesday, because they're just looking at weather reports. They publish it on the Bucks County website internally. Larry, who does our IT, phenomenal job. He's my go-to person. I collect the information, get it to him, and he gets it on our social media or websites and just pushes it out. And everybody that shares our information gets to see it. So that's the declaration portion. The shelters that are that are up are nonprofit organizations affiliated with the county, or just church groups or other agencies, and they're dependent on their own volunteers that can do it. So it takes they host the facility, but they need people, and they get people in there and they do it. They like in our case, the Coalition to Shelter and Support the Homeless. They operate the Code Blue project for Central Bucks County, and they pick their spots. This is the stuff I put on the website because saying it right now doesn't help anything. But we give the phone number, we give the website, and we get all that information. So if anybody can see it on a phone or something like that, they can reach out to these people. Once again, openings are dependent on volunteers, staffing. Staffing's everything. Transport. How do you get somebody there? Well, you can take them there. How do you know where there is? It's published. We tell you, like right now in January, it's Our Lady of Guadalupe up on Cold Spring Creamery. It's like border of Doylestown off of 313, I think it is. I know our police officers have transported people to this homeless shelter or various ones in times of need. But there's also a van loop that goes on, and the hours are 7 to 8 p.m. each Code Blue night. So when the declaration happens, the shelter is opened, and the transportation starts to occur, and that's volunteers too. So the van loop hits a couple Doylestown locations and hits our Walmart.
Okay.
And it's not the main entrance of the Walmart. Over on the side of the building that's close to Street Road, there's some park benches there. That's the loop pickup. So they're kind of strict on it. They say be there by 6:50. They want you there early and wait, because the loop is not a predetermined loop. It could be at 7:45. They could be there at 7 on the button. So you want to get if you're going to help somebody or walk them over to that transport spot. If you're in Warminster or get them there, they'll get in the van. It runs from 7:30 p.m. to 6:45. These shelters in the morning. So in the morning, they're kind of bust out. That's the limit they can do. Let's see, that's the van stops. So that's the Code Blue, the declaration, the shelter operation, and then the transport. And that's how interconnected with volunteers.
Okay.
The Warminster warming shelter. So when you hear we get a severe storm or the high wind events we've been getting like crazy where it's a power outage and a chunk of our neighborhoods is going to be a while. Sometimes we put up a warming station or a cooling station. Those are also by availability of the buildings. So we have the Ben Wilson Center, which we just put a nice generator in, and we maintain those facilities in there to have this as an option. First Presbyterian over in Madison, they have a group over there that will come to the rescue, and we'll set it up there. I've met with them a couple times, and they're anxious to help. And that's like a neighborhood thing, so you can walk up to it. Same thing over there. I'd love to get more spaces. I always thought about 3 on this side of the street and 3 on the other side, just cover all the neighborhoods. Yeah. But location, right? It's tough. So when we do a warming shelter, we have to coordinate somebody to staff it, and it usually goes by their hours. So whatever their hours are. And we try and get that. And you get in there, get warm, obviously. Recharge your batteries if there's a power outage. I don't know what's going to happen with this storm. Anticipate the worst, right? If there's going to be a long-term power outage. And socialize, just see people from the neighborhood. Just get over there and get out of your house if you're going to be there for a duration. So with that, when it comes to emergency management and our basic plan, our emergency management plan for the township, we have certain assumptions we put in there. And one of the assumptions is that Warminster residents have to be self-sufficient for 3 days. And there's a lot of reasons for that because there's a lot going on in those first 3 days. So we ask that the residents check everything. It's coming this weekend. If you have a generator, make sure it's fueled up. If you have your parents or grandparents or neighbors that might got to get checked in, put that on your list of things to do when you're doing it. Get people self-sufficient for 3 days. During that time, when we can see that it's going to be a long-term event, we're going to have to ramp up for these shelters. If it's a regional Bucks County shelter, it's going to be a school, people, and resources we got to get there. It takes us time to build these long-term shelters up. So that's just a key thing to keep in mind with shelters. I have 2 other comments. One for snow with the fire hydrants. When we get a plowable snow like this, we don't see any fire hydrants. We're coming down that road, it's a sea of white. And our public works are doing their job. They're giving us access to your front door. We need, and it's in the code, but everything could be in the code, everything could be in the law, but we need to have an ownership of that fire hydrant in front of your house. You own that fire hydrant. You think of that is going to protect your neighborhood. I need to get that available so that our firefighters can wrap that hydrant and get water out of it. Own it. Take that responsibility. Because we can't go around and do all the fire hydrants. How many are out there?
Tons.
More than
I
two,
don't even know.
and we're tired.
Yeah,
we don't
yeah.
want to do it, right?
You mean,
so-
a couple people that live there can dig them out during the storm?
It's actually in the ordinance,
Yeah,
that
it's supposed
if
to.
it abuts your property, it's your responsibility.
Right.
But own it as if you're protecting your neighborhood. You're the hero of the street, because usually there's only one hydrant on that street. Take that, clear it out, and make it easy for the fire department. That's the fire hydrant thing. Clearing the streets, public works, it's two things. They're out there, there are agents. They're the agents of the residents, because residents got to get out and go to work. You just heard it, right? They have to get to work. They got to get to the supermarkets to work. They got to get to the banks. They got to go to the hospitals. We got nurses that live in our town. We got to get them out so they can do their job. They're also agents of emergency services. We have to get to you.
Right.
So we need that street clear. We need them cars off the street. Whether you got a neighbor across the street that's got the full driveway and one car, put some of your cars in there, work it out, buy her coffee. It's a lot of work in the snowstorms. We know this. We know it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot on our legs. There's just a lot more we're doing. If you think of an ambulance, when they pull up, they got to get the gurney out, right? They got to get the reese basket. They got to get the oxygen. They got to get the cardiacs. They got to get the meds out. They got all this stuff, and then they got to get it from the street to your front door and in the house. That's a challenge. So when our public works is out there plowing, they're really agents of us, our residents and emergency services. So we want to give them the best opportunity to make it safe for the town. So that's my pitch for plowing.
Yeah.
They need to do it.
I agree, Joe.
Yes. Thanks,
You know,
Joe.
Thank you.
And,
You stole my thunder.
and I know they,
Sorry.
it bothers them when there's cars all over the street because they want to go curb to curb.
I think they take it personal.
They do.
They want to do a good job.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can see it after a storm, the curves, like there was a car there.
Yeah.
So that's what I got. So I hope I explained the code blue well.
Yeah, and are you
And,
expecting that for next week? Because it's supposed to be
I do.
bitter cold next
I do.
week.
Really?
It'll come right from the county, get it to Larry, we'll all know.
Okay,
All right?
okay. Great, thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
All right. Is that it, Tom?
That's all I've got for the manager's report. Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
All right. Scott?
Yeah, I actually have a couple items that are going to be upcoming on your agenda. First one is Warminster received an intermunicipal liquor license transfer, so you'll have to decide on that. That'll likely be on your March agenda based on our advertising timelines. The other one, we have an ordinance coming up for the automated red light camera enforcement. I believe late last year, Chief Donnelly brought that to your attention, that we have money for automated red light cameras at Street in York and Street in Jacksonville. If the advertising works, I expect that to be on your agenda for February.
Okay. Excellent.
Thank you.
Good job, Chief. Thank you.
Last but not least,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You have our January's engineers report. I have no changes or additions, just one comment. I don't want to open up any dialogue, but I appreciate your feedback earlier. I was a little quiet because they want to hear direction from you. And also,
Did they hear?
Did they really want to know?
well, they were given a heads up of what was coming, so.
Okay, good.
But what I want to say was, it is difficult dealing, I hate to say this, with PennDOT on their reviews and in cooperation, working with municipalities. If it meets code, it's okay, and they're looking at the bigger picture and not each local community where you guys know better. And when the code doesn't say, hey, we know from experience, it's hard to, because PennDOT wants it the way it's designed. They don't want to affect the shopping center. That's why he brought that up. So it's a back and forth. Ultimately, you get to decide, and we can put conditions on a project, I guess, whether it's in the code or not, and they can deal with it. So I do appreciate your feedback tonight. And I know it wasn't, there's one serious issue with that project as far as traffic and the schools there. and how it's going to impact that intersection. So I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Is that it?
Yep.
All right. So we already went through the upcoming agenda items, correct, Tom? Next meeting's February 5th.
Well, I don't want to gloss over the fact that we're going to be doing the road program rollout 2026.
Okay.
Yes.
Next meeting.
Can't wait.
The authority,
Yeah.
is the authorities coming?
Big.
We have,
Also, I forgot to ask, we're going to cancel the meeting on the 19th, right? We're going to do the 5th?
yes.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Go ahead, keep it up.
We just on vacation.
We're on a roll.
It's literally past my bedtime.
Sorry.
It was long tonight. All right.
On West Coast, John.
Yeah, that's what he needs.
All right.
You're up.
All right, everybody, have a good evening. Enjoy the snow, have fun, but look after your neighbors. Be kind to one another. That's all I have to say
Chuck?
about that.
Thank you, Janice.
Yes, thank you, Joe, for your report. That was great. I was going to say about the fire hydrants myself, clear that path around the fire hydrants. If the fire hydrant's on an elderly neighbor, do it for him. Just because it's on his property, I mean, you can't help out. Don't forget to get your milk and bread on Saturday.
The store shelves are already empty.
I'm sure.
All right, go ahead, Mary.
Just remind everybody, please be safe during this upcoming storm. Shovel smartly, think of your neighbors, and thank you ahead of time to all the essential personnel that will have to go to work during that time.
Kath?
Good comments, Mayor. I'd like to thank everyone for a very productive meeting tonight. And also, make sure you take your car off this street, because it really does bother the road guys. They really can't stand that. And it is against our ordinance, and you might get ticketed, right, Chief? There you go. You might get ticketed. Okay, so please move your car. And as Chuck said, and other members, clear around the fire hydrants. And if you have any elderly neighbors, that might need a hand, help them out. Thank you. That's it, Mr. Chair.
Tom, you want to add something?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen of the board, members of the public, the township facilities will all be closed on Monday, except for obviously the storm effort and the emergency responders.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. All right. Can't say it enough. Get your cars off the roads and leave our public works do their thing. Thank you, and motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Second?
Third.
Thank you.